Welcome, guys, another podcast with Galga TV. Here we got extra guests in the studio today. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Krisia. You guys know me. You've seen me.
Hi, I'm Sara. You should know me.
Oh, that's right. If you guys are watching the skits, then
Right.
he's on the channel.
Go to Galga TV. You'll find me. Sara
And I'm Daniel. You'd like to know me.
Oh,
I thought I'd keep the trend going, you know.
I like the intro today with that voice. All right, so let's keep it light, even though today's topic is not very light, I guess, because, well, a lot of people seem to get really, really passionate, you could say, about it, or just outraged. We're going to talk about the whole, I guess, abortion issue. I mean, the Roe versus Wade, I guess, thing that just passed or got
overturned.
Got overturned, exactly. But just in general, I guess the whole abortion issue and all that stuff, I think we have slightly different point of views. I don't know what your point of view is, Daniel, so I guess we'll find out. Yeah, I don't know. Who wants to take it away?
Well, I want to hear like what you guys have in mind, because think of me as everybody, as like the general public. I've been really, really busy with other productions and other things. I haven't really been able to dive in. So basically what I'm getting fed is what I see on my Instagram, on my Facebook. Okay. And that's my main source of information right now, because I don't even have time to watch TV. So I don't even know what the news is saying, to be honest. I don't know what CNN is saying or Fox is saying. But I'm just getting a lot of feedback from my friends, some concerns that they have. And it's on my timeline, I could tell you like it's probably 95% of my friends are very, very concerned about this Roe versus Wade overturn.
They're basically not happy with it.
They're not happy. They're worried. They're worried about their rights. They're worried where it would take it to next. Like, are other rights in danger? Because I understand that the Supreme Court can't really make rules, and they all they did was overturn it, but so now we're not protected under the Constitution. I think that's what's getting worried, because before it was protected.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, I guess so. It sounds like most of your friends are more on the liberal side, I guess, because if you're getting the news from like you say, Instagram from your friends, all that stuff, it just depends where, like you can go online and you can get people who are very, very pro-choice, as they say, or anti-abortion. And it just depends on I guess what your circle of friends are and who you follow online.
Exactly. Right. I was just going to say, in my case, it's the total opposite, where I see a lot of my friends from Ecuador, actually, and a few friends from here that are happy with that decision or that ruling. And
people in Ecuador, though?
I know. Why do they care?
It's very interesting that this is something that is all over the world. The world has an opinion about it. And sometimes I'm thinking, well, I mean, you don't really live in the United States, so it doesn't affect you at all. Yet they have an opinion, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to one. But, it just worries me when they get very, very angry or very, very passionate, like you said, about it. And it's like, well, where you are, things should be fine. Or I don't even know. I don't know what's happening in Ecuador. I don't know what's happening in Canada.
Yeah. Oh, the laws are drastically different even in Canada. But
so
I guess before we continue, then doesn't matter. Like I said, let's keep it light, casual, all that stuff, and you guys watching also, because
keep it casual.
Like I said, at the end of the day, these are just opinions that we're sharing. And that saying, opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got them, and they all stink. So just keep it light, and don't take it too serious, because at the end of the day, it's not like we're gonna change the law or something like that.
But it's funny how her social media or her group or the what she sees is totally the opposite from what I see.
Yeah.
I've been just being a bunch of memes. That's pretty much it, honestly.
Really?
On my timeline, it's just been memes, jokes, things like that.
So what are your memes though showing you?
Yeah. What are you?
Just the whole thing about like the contraceptives, and honestly, I had one that was really funny, but
you're not going to share it?
You should have saved it for this podcast.
I hope you should send me the links.
I'm trying to remember where it was I saw it. It was so funny. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on.
All right. Okay. Well, in the meantime, then maybe what's it called? I guess I'll share my opinion. Yes. My opinion has been it's been varied, first of all, a lot over the years. I think you know how you guys, like, I'm sure you've heard, usually when people are younger, they tend to be more on the kind of liberal side.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you become more conservative, right? And, you know, just to give away, yes, I'm getting older. So, yes, I'm getting a bit more on the...
younger, so.
Oh, okay. I gotta talk to you about that secret then. But yeah, so my view has been changing. I guess when I was younger, I just really didn't care. I was like, whatever, you know, like even though I was younger, I wanted to have kids of my own. I wanted to have family, but I was like, whatever, you know, if she gets pregnant or whatever, they don't want to have a kid, they want to abort. I was like, you know, what's it to me? As I was getting older, I started becoming more and more like, no, like this is just wrong. Like this is, you know, murder, right? So, because you know how it is, like every side is going to usually try to attack the other by basically calling them names, right? So usually it's like, you know, the conservative side, which I also actually don't like that about the conservatives, is that they'll be, you know, calling the people who are pro-choice, as you call them, you know, they're going to be calling them, you know, baby murderers.
I was called a baby killer by my mother.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's
so yeah, so like, and that's what I'm saying. So I don't think that's cool. At the same time, yeah, I mean, like I said, so my point of views have been kind of changing as I was getting older, more conservative. Although I gotta also now admit, like lately, I say last few years, I'm kind of like, I'm definitely not okay with abortion, which is legal in some states now, like California, I believe, and Virginia, where you can literally have abortion like up to 5 minutes before the baby's born.
Right.
Like, I think that's messed up.
Yeah.
Because that's like a fully conscious, aware.
That is for me murder.
Yeah. So that I would almost, I mean, I don't know if I qualify as murder, but I mean,
Well, if
I guess
that baby is a functioning, like a healthy baby, you know.
So I'm not okay with that, but I'm also not okay with like some of these states now, not all of them, but some of them now came up with these laws that are basically like, I think, what is it, like 6 weeks or something, that when you hear the heartbeat, right? And when you hear, from what I understand, when the heartbeat can be detected, and if the baby is aborted at that point, then it's considered murder in those states. Except the problem with that is many times some women don't even know they're pregnant at that point, right?
The woman that says that they don't know,
It's lying.
I don't think they necessarily are lying. It has to be a girl that has irregular periods. But if it's a girl that has regular periods, trust me, they will know. There's no way
How
they
soon?
will know. 3 days after, if you don't get your period.
Okay.
3 days after, you can take a test and it'll tell you.
You hear that, Tom?
When I had the
There's
babies.
some advice for you. If you don't get
What's
your
that?
period, Tom. I said, if you don't get your period.
Yeah, I know.
mean,
I tell
feel
him, don't worry about it.
I feel like that's a big scare. When you don't get your period, like the next day you want to take a test.
Exactly. That's what when they say, oh, I didn't know. The only way that I can believe you is that if you have irregular periods, because it happened to my older sister. She always had irregular periods, and she didn't know she was pregnant until like after a month. It's because she just like she would get her period every 2 months, every 3 months. So she just didn't know.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I can believe. If you have some sort of thing
Now,
that messes
I'm
up
sure
your
there's
period.
exceptions, right? Also to the rule, like exceptions in terms of, like, I don't know. I've watched this thing, some TV show of a woman that was, let's just say she was a little bit on the heavier side. And she just literally didn't know. And then I think she said she went to the bathroom and then she was like, oops, a baby came out.
I've seen so many stories about that, but it's true. But I think like heavier set women do have irregular periods.
Yes.
Sometimes they
okay.
don't get it for months. Sometimes even for a year. It's just their body's like
Messed up?
like it's like trying to process a lot.
Too much
Too much
processing.
happening. Because I've seen those stories. They're like, I didn't know I was pregnant. Here's a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like 5 minutes before, you might as well have it and put it up for adoption.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
I agree.
Right.
Okay, so
But are you sure that that's a law? 5 minutes before?
Yeah.
How would they even do that?
like literally, it's not even 5. It's like as long as the baby has not been born yet, it's not outside of the womb, then it can be aborted. Which is, in that case, I think it's messed up.
But how would they do that? It would have to come out.
They
of
were
her.
induced. They would do an induction.
Yeah.
and then
And
so-
I mean,
makes
it's
no
messed up because they
sense.
come in and like they rip the limbs
Oh
apart.
my
And stuff.
God! Stop.
So imagine,
Oh.
like that's like,
Oh.
yeah, exactly.
See, that's not right. But
I'll tell you that when I start talking to people, I find that most people then are, that's not a fine. Although there's been some people that not personally that I know, but people that I've seen online that are like, yeah, it should be allowed. Which I was like, okay. But most people really, when you sit down and talk to them, they go, okay, yeah, that's not fine. But at the same time, a woman, let's say in 6 weeks or whatever, right, the first trimester should have the option to think. Now let's kind of let me show you guys a little clip that I found, this is basically about the whole Roe versus Wade, right?
Okay.
So the whole thing was that there was no such laws before, right? So I guess just to kind of break it down, so there was no such laws about abortion basically in the United States on the federal level. States had different laws, and then in the 70s, I forgot what year it was.
It was like 50 years ago.
Yeah, 70 something. So Roe, basically a woman named Roe, she basically wanted to get an abortion and basically went to court, and then there was this whole dispute, went all the way up to Supreme Court, and Supreme Court ruled that she should have the right to abort. And the case was that she was basically saying that she was raped, right? Saying that she does not want to carry this child and all that stuff. Of course, a lot of people are upset with that because then that kind of set a precedent and kind of limit the states on how they can dictate their laws, because some states are very, hey,
strict.
some of them are like, hey, you have free abortions for everybody and you get a cookie with it, while others are like, no, we'll put you in prison. Mm-hmm. The interesting, though, story that many people don't know about it, I didn't know about it, is that whole case that this was based on was basically a big hoax. So play this, hopefully this.
Jane Roe's story was a terrible one. She said she had been gang raped, gotten pregnant, was desperate to get an abortion. That's what everyone believed, as long as Jane Roe remained anonymous. When she went public, she told a different story.
A very old clip.
You were raped while you were in Georgia?
No, I wasn't.
You were not?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so all those stories that are in the books and so forth are not true?
Yes, sir. Yes.
They're not true.
Right.
And it turned out that lying wasn't the only embarrassment this darling of the pro-choice forces presented. In her personal treatise published last year, Norma McCorvey told the story of her somewhat sordid life. Then she still adamantly supported abortion. Now she adds that to the list of sins she took with her into the baptismal pool.
I've cheated people out of money. I've sold drugs. I was an abusive alcoholic for many years. I've done a lot against his teachings. But I think the far greater sin that I did was to be the plaintiff in Roe versus Wade.
Whoa.
So I mean,
Oh my God.
I know when I heard that.
Sold some drugs, killed some people. It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh
Just
my
a regular
God.
afternoon.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
But
a regular
I'll tell you
Tuesday.
this, that knowing first of all how the U.S. government has been structured, right, which I think is been structured in a pretty solid way. Not everything's perfect, but we have three basically parts of the federal government. At least you have the judicial, the administrative, and then the legislative. So the legislative part of the government, which is Congress and the House and Senate, is what's really responsible. Those are the guys that should be coming up with laws.
Yeah.
And they're the only ones, according to the Constitution, that have authority to come up with laws. So if there was ever going to be a law that was going to be passed on the federal level about making abortion legal or not legal or partially legal, it should be done by the Congress. But of course, no congressman, no senator ever wants to touch that issue because they know it's a very divisive issue.
Yeah.
The administrative, which is the White House, basically, and the president, they can't make any laws. They can only veto a law that Congress passes, right? And then we have the legislative branch of the government. The legislative branch of the government was never, ever designed to make laws. They're just simply there to make sure that the laws that are passed, that that those are actually meeting the Constitution. They're within the constitutional thing. And so this thing went in there, this whole court issue, and this woman saying she was raped and that's why she deserved to have the right to take abortion. and it gets all the way up, goes through the whole court system, makes it all the way to Supreme Court. And there, the Supreme Court, based on the information that she gave, are saying, well, yeah, she was raped, so she was, this is not by her choice. She really shouldn't have to carry that child and take care of that child. So they basically said, okay, yeah, she should have the right to abort. And then that whole thing then made it where it's kind of almost like the judicial part of the government, which is not supposed to make laws, kind of almost passed a law saying, yeah, now all the states have to make abortion legal. And I don't think that was right, especially when you find out that this woman was bullshitting. She was basically on drugs, she was messed up, and she admitted to it. She's like, no, that was not true, and I was not raped and all that stuff. So I don't think it's right. And now I know that a lot of people are getting upset, which I kind of do want to make it clear that basically all that's happened now is the Supreme Court simply said, we are, with the information we have now up to date, we're overturning this, meaning we don't have any opinion, pro-choice or not pro-choice, whatever, whoever the hell you guys want to, whichever way you guys want to go, you guys decide either in Congress, petition your congressmen, petition your senators, or in federal, or on the state level, you can petition, your representatives in each state. And in a way, I mean, I think people who are pro-democracy, but also people who are pro-choice or people who are anti-whatever, abortion, I think should be happy because now it finally becomes a democratic process where you can petition the people that you elect, you can make phone calls, you can email them, you can do all this stuff, and you can try to change their opinion if your state, let's say, or your municipality, whatever, doesn't allow it. So it actually goes back to people's thing. And also the funny thing is, to me at least, is like I said, I'm pro-choice in some cases, very rare cases, like if it's incest, rape, and all that stuff, or if it's very early. I'm not okay with babies, in like late term being aborted. But anyways, that's my thing. And I understand some people just won't agree with me. But the thing is that the people who seem to be, at least that's what I've been seeing on my social media, the people who seem to be the most upset are people like I saw all these people rioting in California, which California basically, like I said, allows everybody, even men, I think, get abortions. I don't know how that works. But you know what I mean? So it's funny because now it's like those people don't realize it doesn't mean that abortion is illegal. It just simply means that each state gets to decide. So,
but I think that's where people are worried because before it was protected by the Constitution, so all the states had.
Well, it wasn't protected by, like I said. So it was the legislative branch didn't want to touch it, and judicial made this ruling based on a bullshit case, Roe versus Wade.
Right.
And now they're like, well, yeah, we shouldn't be like you guys should decide. Petition your congressman.
Right, but now those conservative states are.
Oh, they're for sure gonna. I mean, some of them already made it.
Right.
I think Texas is the most.
Oh yeah.
Strict.
That's the one,
Yeah.
That was one of the memes that I saw. It reminded me is like you can't carry guns. Oh no, what was it?
You can carry guns.
You can carry guns, or you can. I forget what it was, but it was something like that. A meme.
Yeah. See, there's so many of them. That's the thing. Like I can't think of them now that I'm on the spot.
Oh, you're breaking up.
But it was something like that. But yeah, I think that's what was worrying a lot of people is that now these conservative states aren't going to help these women that do need it. Like you said, there are certain cases that these women want help, and now they're making it illegal. They're putting on, these heavy sentences, and now these women that need it are not going to be protected.
But so you're saying you'd be you're basically concerned for women in conservative states.
Yes,
but I think those conservative states, because if a woman gets raped or raped by their father, incest, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I believe they will put something to
Texas
protect those women because that's if you're a conservative or a religious person, you don't consider that.
See, like again,
so I believe that those exceptions.
Yeah, I don't want to talk out of my ass. Maybe I'll check while you guys are talking. But from what I understand, Texas is the strictest right now. But even Texas allows abortions for some cases where doctor approves it because it's a medical emergency or because it's incest or rape. So even though they're so strict, they do allow it for those cases, which if, like let's say if you, Sara, or anybody who's pro-choice makes an argument saying, well, no, it's because of those rare cases, well, then those women are still okay. You know what I mean? They're still covered in those states.
Yeah, but it's anyways.
Yeah.
We'll see. it would be interesting to know what each states decide, because I was reading something on Instagram about this lady that's 25 weeks pregnant, and they told her that her baby had this condition where she was suffering seizures inside the womb and wasn't developing properly. And so she went to her doctor. 25 weeks. 25 weeks. That's a full-grown baby. It has absolutely everything.
Yeah.
And so she went to her doctor, and the doctor said, all right, we'll schedule it. You know, she didn't want to have the baby. She didn't want to bring the baby with, with the seizures and stuff here into this world to suffer. And so the doctor decided, like, okay, we'll schedule your abortion, right? And it just so happens that she was scheduled to have her abortion. I don't know. I don't even know the dates of when these things got passed. But anyways, she was scheduled to have the abortion the day after this Roe and Wade thing got overturned.
Oh, okay.
And so when she went back, she thought, oh, well, maybe that won't include me because mine was scheduled before. And then her doctor said that he couldn't, that she needs to carry this.
Now,
she
I'll
needs to
give
carry this pregnancy till the end, because she decided to do the abortion because they told her this baby is going to die anyways, whether she's going to die in your womb or she'll die at birth or a week after. The baby is not going to make it. She just was not developed properly, right? Yeah. And so now this woman is upset because she's has to carry, and I understand it's hard, right? Because it's just hard. I'm sure she loves this baby, and it was a hard decision for her to make it, right? And she already probably had made it up in her mind, like, okay, I'm doing this. And then they tell her, no, you gotta just carry this. So I wonder, because that is a medical thing. Would her doctor, if her doctor had said, we're gonna go through it because it's just, what would have happened? I mean, I don't, I don't. And so she's still with that baby, so we don't know what's going on.
I'm going to bring up a question for you guys also, but before I do that, I just want to say, I guess, my opinion too. One thing I love about this country, and I know, Daniel, you're in Canada, but in Canada, actually, many people are like saying, oh my God, it's, so bad what's happening. But in Canada, there's actually some restrictions on abortion too. It's not like you can just have abortions for any kind of reason.
Really? Like what? I haven't heard of any.
Yeah, there's. I don't want to again talk out of my ass because think about it. But if you look it up online, you'll see there's some restrictions. But basically, what I love about the U.S. is that the fact that we are sort of like a union, kind of like what European Union was supposed to be, but kind of failed in some respects. But we're a union where we're basically, a combination of all these little mini states or mini countries. Mm-hmm. So you can literally freely travel and move between all these different places. Mm-hmm. Yet you have certain, constitutional rights that are shared, but at the same time, let's say if you want, like, oh hey, I want to smoke marijuana. Well, if you live in a state that's not makes it illegal, well, you can go to a state that does make it legal,
or you can just come to Canada.
Or yeah, exactly.
I just moved to Canada.
Just moved to, like, if you can handle the winters.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, even Daniel, right? You're getting tired of the winters.
Yeah, that's the.
I am, but the legal weed definitely helps a lot.
Well, I'll let you know that
good stuff.
In most places in the U.S. now it is legal too, even in Florida. So you can have the sun and the weed.
But that's the beauty of living here, right? You can just get up and go and start your life.
So
in
I don't
other
know
state that you
exactly. So I don't know why so many people who are here want to make everything like the same thing, the whole country identical. It's like, no, you have the freedom, you idiot. You have the freedom to go to this state or to that state. Maybe your opinions will change in 5 years. You don't have to uproot and change your citizenship and all that stuff. It's so easy to just go between states, and you can. Like I said, if you don't like it here, even like with the gun rights and all that stuff, some states are more strict than others. You have that choice. But anyways, a lot of this issue too, I've noticed, like I said, which I don't know why personally, but it's kind of more divided. Like people who are anti-abortion are more, like we were saying, conservative. People who are pro-choice are more liberal, right? Now, I think you guys would all agree, I mean, Daniel too, that people who are more liberal, at least in the last 2 years, have been very strict about the whole vaccination, right? Like saying everybody should get vaccinated and all that stuff.
That was the ironic part. They weren't that liberal about that.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say. So if you believe that women should always, get to decide and have bodily autonomy, then what does that mean about things like mandatory vaccinations?
Yeah.
Should those be illegal, or should it be totally enforced?
No, absolutely. I find it really funny because I don't have any particular party. I'm not conservative or liberal. I stand for what I think is just right and people having human rights. But yeah, I thought that was funny too. I'm like, look at the liberals all like, everyone should have a choice. I'm like, my body, my choice. I'm like, exactly, my body,
everything. It applies to everything.
Exactly. I thought that was kind of funny.
For those 2 years, there were a lot of those people who are pro-abortion were pushing vaccines.
Yes, they were like the conservatives. They're like, let's make it a law. We were like, whoa, calm down. And now it's really funny to see how opinions change. And again, I know the media heavily influences how people react and how passionate they get about something and how easily people are influenced. I think we saw that during COVID. Easily people are just swayed to whatever side. And even some friends that I thought, had more of a moral compass and more of human rights on their forefront, I was surprised when the vaccine came out, how they acted, how they attacked others, and just the attacking of others.
Like they weren't so compassionate.
Exactly. They were just like, you're wrong. And it's like, why? Why can't we all just have our own opinions and be okay with it? And but I agree with you. Like, it's really funny to see all the liberals out there.
And another funny thing is the Prime Minister of Canada, when this whole thing came out, Justin Trudeau.
Himself?
Wait, what's that?
Are you talking about blackface himself?
Oh yeah, Mr. So you're not a fan of him?
But it was funny to me, to be honest.
Because do you know what he said?
But I like the jokes that he creates in Canada.
Oh, I know, yeah. It's a lot of comedic material. But do you know that he said he was at some G7 or something meeting, and he said what happened in Canada, in the U.S. with the Roe versus Wade overruled, is like horrendous. These women are going to be suffering, and I invite all these women to Canada so they can have bodily autonomy. Except he didn't forget to mention that to enter Canada right now you gotta get vaccinated.
Oh my god!
Which is like
that is ironic.
Yeah, that was very ironic. Because otherwise I could respect. Okay, he has a different opinion, and he thinks women and people in general should have a freedom to do what they want with their body. But then if you're forcing them to get vaccinated, it's like, okay.
Yeah, you're contradicting yourself there. Yeah. You're not giving people the freedom to do what they want with their body. I think that happens a lot
in politics in general. Just a lot of contradictory stuff.
Are people saying there anything in Canada about that? Like the, about him, saying that, but while at the same time he's pushing for the vaccines?
Not really. There's been some memes, of course, but not really.
Share those memes, Daniel. What? You didn't come prepared tonight.
I know. I gotta get them before the end of the episode.
All right. Okay. Maybe another quick question I got here is, there's a bunch of companies now. One company that I really like, actually. Well, I wish to one day own one of their cars, which is Tesla, but a whole bunch of other companies like Dick's Sporting Goods and a bunch of other ones that came out and basically said, we support freedom of choice, whatever. We're pro thing or anti. I guess pro-abortion. I'm getting confused now. But basically, we're pro-abortion. And so we're going to basically now allow our employees to go and we'll pay for their travel expenses.
Up to $4,000.
So, to other states so they can get an abortion.
Now, see, one thing I do want to put out there, if I am pro-abortion when it's a medical need, like that woman, right? My sister, Millie also went through something like that where she had to she needed to get an abortion. She was 20 weeks. Very sad because I know the mothers, they suffer. But let's say there's women out there that go and just have sex irresponsibly and get pregnant. And that's what I don't agree with. Oh, I got pregnant. Now I'm just going to go get an abortion. I mean...
actually, speaking of that...
That is irresponsible. There's things called, I think, the next day pill or all these things that you can do. Plan B. That you can do. You have sex. Oh, I'm protected. I might get pregnant. Take that pill and then you'll be fine. But no, they wait.
Maybe they don't even want to pay for it. I don't know. Because I'll tell you that I saw this little documentary, like it was years ago, about this, because it was like this whole undercover investigative thing. And they basically found I think it was in New York, like these pimps that had these girls that were, I'm pretty damn sure they were underage, but they were, they were prostitutes. Mm-hmm. And these girls were taken by their pimps to, I think it was Planned Parenthood. Yeah. That's taxpayer funded in New York and all that stuff. And they were just like, oh yeah, just remove the thing. Like, and I was like, these girls, first of all, no say, they were clearly being forced into that.
It's like slavery.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
And then in that case, like, why is this even allowed? Like, because like I said, if it's, like somebody's responsible, made maybe the wrong choice and decides, okay, now I want to have an abortion, or they were raped or whatever, then I understand. But like these young girls that are basically being brought in there by their pimps, then thing. Now, again, I don't know the statistics of whether that's a very small percentage of women getting abortions or whether that's majority of them, but that's the
I just
thing.
don't agree with the, being irresponsible.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It's frustrating because there are women that do need it, that really need an abortion, like I said,
medically
or for the other reasons. But then you have these women that are just irresponsible and they're like, well, it's just easy. I'm just going to go and get an abortion.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
That's what I don't agree with.
I agree. And I know certain people that are in the line of poverty. And they just continue to have kids. And now the kids are having a poor lifestyle. Now they can barely afford food. Now they have to live, in the projects. They have to get help from the government. So, and again, that puts the help that people actually need from the government being given to all these people. And then now they're restricting it. And, and they're, everybody else is paying for their mistakes. Which I get it. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating.
They want to do just because... we already have enough fucking assholes in the world. So, I mean,
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean,
there's so many of them on there.
Yeah. It's just be responsible. I was with my ex. We were together for 10 years. Never had an accident. Never had a baby. We knew what we wanted.
You were more responsible. Yeah.
It's like, it's not hard to be responsible. So I agree with you on that.
So and I also think that if most people were that responsible, then probably this whole thing wouldn't even be an issue, because it would be such a small number of women that would need to get abortions that it would be like whatever. Just to keep things light, I found this joke.
Oh God!
I found it.
You found it. Somebody sent it to me.
I remember this Black Lives Matter that was crazy during the pandemic. And one of my girlfriends, she hit me up and she was like, yo, we gotta do more. And I'm like, what more should we do? Like, we done been to 15 marches. She was like, nah, but we gotta do more. And I was like, well, what else do you want to do? She was like, I'm sick of these cops killing black men. And I was like, but you done had 10 abortions. You've killed more black men in the city of New York City. All your kids gonna be in heaven. Like, why you marching for them other people? Why you ain't marching for us?
That's funny.
Oh my God. That's pretty funny.
And she was white. I was like,
okay, I thought that was funny.
That's what I see on my social media. Things like that when I'm scrolling.
Yeah, I don't care what side you're on. If you're not laughing at this, you have no sense of humor.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Man.
Good job, Krisia.
So you did come prepared.
You
see?
I didn't. I just forwarded to you.
Oh, man. All right. So let's see. What else is there? Oh, there was this documentary that actually came out. Well, that's another thing. Like I said, some states now made abortions legal for men, technically, or trans women, which I also...
Is there something new in science
that look like men
that men are having babies?
No,
I don't know. But have you guys seen this?
Sign me up for that one.
Have you guys seen this new film called What is a Woman?
No,
I haven't seen it either. I just saw the trailer and I thought it was pretty, like, just the fact that there is a film like that, I thought it was pretty insane. So I'll just play it. Okay. You guys tell me what you think. But I think that's kind of leads on this issue.
Let's see.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that? Well, you're at the Women's March. You must have some idea. Please, if one person could tell me what a woman is.
You are not here for women. We ask you to leave.
What is that?
It's like, what is a woman?
I'm a father of 4. I host a talk show. I give speeches. I write books.
I like to make sense of things. A woman is not anything in particular.
There is not one particular thing.
It could be many things to many people.
Some women have penises, right? Some men have vaginas.
I like scented candles, and I've watched Sex and the City.
Yeah.
How do I know if I'm a woman?
That's a great question.
You're not a scientist. You're not a gender studies major.
No.
How do you know that you're a man?
I guess because I got a dick.
Can a man become a woman?
I'm not a woman, so I can't really answer that.
Women only know what women are.
Are you a cat?
No.
Can you tell me what a cat is? Do you want to tell us what a woman is?
I'm a biological woman that medically transitioned to appear like a male. I will never be a man.
And so they go on the internet and they're told that all of their problems will be solved if they become a man.
So you worry that there could be a sort of social contagion element of this?
A teeny tiny bit, maybe.
It got me at 42. Your child doesn't have a chance.
You're affirming it with hormones that have never been used in this way.
Puberty blockers, which are completely reversible.
Completely reversible.
One of the drugs used is Lupron, right? Which has actually been used to chemically castrate sex offenders.
You know what? I'm not sure that we should continue with this interview.
You don't want to talk about the drugs that you give to kids, or?
How can they be removing the healthy breasts of 15-year-old girls?
There are masculine girls. There are feminine boys. What are we going to do about that? Carve them up?
How can this whole thing be happening, Matt?
I wanted us to have a safe place to be able to talk about this.
Part of me wants to ask why you care so much.
I care about the truth. I care about children. I care about the women who are having their opportunities stolen from them.
Is it transphobic to tell the truth?
The interview's over. Let's turn off the cameras.
Excuse me.
They're fair. I just wanted to know, what is a woman?
And you're not going to find out.
Based on what I'm saying, would you ever want to move to America?
They say no, never.
I hope you enjoyed it a little bit.
We'll see when it comes out.
So I just wanted to show this because supposedly, I haven't seen this. I actually am kind of curious because people are saying the reviews, they're saying it's really funny. It's funny, but it also is eye-opening in some ways.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's like, I think right now, one of the best like selling documentaries that came out. It's like made
I think it smells like trouble.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's
There's
a topic.
trouble all over it.
That's what I think.
There's trouble already. So what's a little more?
But see, isn't it funny that topics like that, like a simple question of like, what is a woman? So like, if certain people have problems answering that question,
way he's going up. He knows what he's doing.
Oh, he knows.
He's
Obviously.
It's
That's
not
the whole
what
thing
you
of the
said, it's
documentary.
how you said it.
Well, no, but I'm saying, but when people who are pushing some of these, what I would call extreme views, and a lot of them are then, pro-abortion, to me, in my eyes, kind of makes them seem crazy because they're like, well, I could accept, okay, you're not, you're pro-abortion in certain cases and this and that, but once you get to the extreme of like a baby can be aborted, like I said, 5 minutes before birth, a woman, is, I can be a woman, you can be a man.
But that's not an abortion anymore.
Well, exactly. But those are usually the people, and I find like, I hope at least that's like a very small fringe. A majority of people don't think that way. But now think about it. Like there's a documentary done about this where, there's, all these people who are confused about it. And because of, I think this stuff is seeping into our, like education system and all that stuff. And these kind of topics are being talked about that are in such a confusing way, I'm saying. And then it's going to create issues. Because again, think about, I don't know, 30, 40 years ago, it wasn't as big of an issue, like the whole abortion thing. That's why the Supreme Court was able to pass that ruling in that case, because most people were like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. And now it's become such a big issue because people who don't even have a stake in it, probably never would care, like guys who don't plan to ever have kids and don't ever plan to be in relationships seem to be so outspoken about it. So.
My question is, why do you think they did this overturning? Is it to cause chaos, or why now after 50 years?
I think part of it is because some states basically were like, well, we're not okay with this. And I think Texas, I'm going to use as an example, they were basically saying, well, we're going to go against this ruling, right?
Why
the Supreme
now?
Court. So finally, the Supreme Court said, well, like all these years, and they were like, well, yeah, we shouldn't be the ones dictating this. Like, you guys, you want to make it legal or illegal? You guys go and petition your, you know.
But you know how that is, petitioning to your state. It's red tape all over it.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, you can reach people a lot easier than I even thought. I mean, it's funny because even here we had, you know, when there was the election for the mayor here, the guy who's the mayor right now, he came here.
Well, there's a lot of mayors.
Yeah. Well, I know that, but I'm saying the guy who's right now, and so he came here, and I remember he was like door to door, you know, and completely don't agree with him. Oh, I shouldn't say completely. On many issues, I don't agree with him. But I gotta admit, like I was like, you know, because he was, you know, handing out flyers, and he's like, oh, I'm just want to let you know the upcoming election, blah blah blah. And I was like, all right, well, do you want to tell me what your positions are on different things? Oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay, do you have time? Yeah. And so we sat on that bench in front of the house, and I talked to him for a while. And he was very cool about it, very respectful. And then at the end of it,
he answered your questions.
He answered my questions. Some of it I straight out didn't agree. I told him, and he was respectful of that too. And in the end, not only that, but he like shook my hand, and he said, you know, I still hope you think about it, and you know, you see that overall we can align a lot of things, that you vote for me. And if I do get elected and you didn't vote for me, he said, you know, always call my office. And I found out the number, and it's very simple.
Mayors are more accessible, but they're not really creating too much impact in like the federal level.
Well, no, not on the federal level. Yeah. But you know what? All of your your congressmen, your senators, you can call them.
Oh yeah, I know.
You can look up their number, and it's.
I work with ASI Media. All we do is we're always around mayors. They're all the mayors. Like we went to the mayor's ball.
No, but I'm saying, but the federal like congressmen and congresswomen and senators, you can call them. So you can make an impact. I mean, you know, again. You know, I guess enough people have to call to make an issue about something.
Yeah, it's like, get all these people. No, I understand. It's just like really strange to me that right now that they did this, that they're, I don't know. It just seems like out of nowhere.
But when would have been a good time?
Right, but why?
Because always something's always showing up.
Right, but why would they? I don't understand why they would even do that.
Now, another question for you guys. Oh,
they're like, all right, things are calming down. How do we cause?
Or they're getting so crazy that they're like, I don't know.
Well, maybe there's something going on behind that they're putting this in the front, so we get distracted by
foggy mirrors.
Yeah.
Maybe they're trying to reduce the population so that COVID numbers go down.
Maybe. Another question then.
Increase the population if there's no more.
No way.
Yeah, right. That'd be actually
Now, me, like I said, being kind of, I guess, pro, you know, or anti-abortion, you know, I also have to be honest with myself and kind of look at it like from a point of view of like logistics. And I heard many people who are pro-choice saying this, and I do agree with them, saying, well, if abortions are made illegal, let's say in Texas they completely make them, which right now, again, they're not completely illegal. But let's say they said no abortions, no exceptions. Mm-hmm. Question is, can you really stop people from having abortions? It's just like, for example, and I'm saying this because I'm very pro-gun, and hold on, let me make sure we didn't lose Daniel. Oh, no, you're still there? Okay. Oh, your call ends in 10 minutes. You know what? Maybe I'll extend the call. Oh, look, Daniel, we have this option here.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be like, for only $199.
Oh, yeah, it's...
per month.
After the 14-day trial.
Yeah. Okay, so
read
you know
the fine print, people.
Okay, do you want to just disconnect and connect again before it?
Yeah, sure. The same link?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Now it's 14-day trials. It used to be a good 30 days. What happened to that? Like 30 to 60 days. Now they're like... With the one I was trying to sign up for.
Or 7 days.
Yeah, Paramount. It's 7 days. I was like, wait, what? I can't even watch everything I want to watch in 7 days. Because they know, like, you know, you're going to binge watch what you want. Oh, my God.
Let's see here. That was when you go. Daniel is here. I never get to use these effects.
Wait, what others do you have?
Oh, there's like all kinds of them.
Wait, why aren't we using these? What's another one?
Next podcast.
You should have started with that, with the Roe versus Wade.
Oh my God.
I like
After
it.
that girl, you
Yeah,
should
you
have
lost a lot of good comedic humor we could have used here.
You know what?
I gotta get somebody else here.
He's been sleeping
but you gotta
on
put
us.
what
I
what
know.
each.
Yeah.
I
we
know.
don't know.
I'm totally completely
You know
slow.
what? I'm out of here.
That was definitely a fail.
Oh, yeah, let me share
and
the
you missed it
screen.
again. You could have used the fail noise again, right there.
So
Damn it.
funny.
I gotta get better. Sorry, guys.
That's why you need to do a video on this whole podcast.
Yeah.
Video and podcast.
All right. So what was I saying?
Well, you were saying, what
Oh,
if
okay.
their abortion gets banned like completely?
Because,
And
so now I know. So then we can
so
cut in.
I wanted to
no,
say.
No, but hold on.
Oh.
And the reason why I'm asking this question is because I'm very pro-gun, and you know, and this is something that I always raise with people who are anti-gun, and I tell them, well, okay, what if you could ban all the guns in America, just like, you know, they've done pretty much in Mexico, for example, whatever. What are you going to do with all those guns that are already in the world? Like, you just can't make them disappear. And so all you're really going to do is you're just going to make legal gun owners not able to have guns, or most of them will decide not to have guns because they don't want to break laws. But the people who don't give a shit are still going to have guns, right? Meaning mainly the criminals. So if that, and I strongly believe that. So when I believe in that, I also think, so are anti-abortion laws really, like, is it good? Because if you're going to make it, you know, illegal, I mean, I'm pretty sure some women are still just going to be like, you know, F this, I'm going to go and get an, you know, backdoor abortion.
I think that's going to be dangerous because women will find some sort of way to do it themselves. And that's when
Which is more dangerous.
Which is more dangerous, you know, in Ecuador, you would have these ladies that would tell you to like stick up a pill or a whole bunch of pills up your vagina, and they would create like the contractions, and the body will expel, and a lot of women would die because, you know, it's blood. And you would see this in the news, that they would go to the pharmacy and the pharmacy lady would tell them these things, and, you know, it's dangerous. So while I don't agree with abortion, I also feel that there has to be a way where you can also avoid, you know, these things happening. But
if you make it, so let's say you're anti-abortion and you make abortions completely illegal, how do you stop these backdoor abortions?
It's just gonna. You don't. People will always find a way, and it's just gonna be. It's dangerous.
So does that mean
road.
that it's pointless to pass any anti-abortion
No,
laws?
I don't think it's pointless. I think that, you know, like we just said, you know, depending on the situation, I'm sure that, I don't know. I don't even know. It's just, this is it's a difficult topic because I've seen this in Ecuador where women try to do it themselves and they end up in the hospital or dead. And
I mean, I heard of women getting abortions with like a coat hanger, which is
right.
Exactly.
That used to be like what they would do. It's scary. Like you said, it's really hard because there's some people that like abuse it. Like people abuse the system. People will abuse abortions, but everything gets abused. And it's really hard because you don't want to hurt the women that need it, but there's other people that are just being reckless out here.
Yes. And
having babies when they know they shouldn't, or they don't even want them and they have them, and sometimes those babies have a poor life.
They just get pregnant.
Yeah, for no reason. And they're unhappy during their pregnancy. They're unhappy with the baby. That child has a bad life, an uncomfortable life. Yeah, it's just be conscious. Just protect yourself.
Yeah, I'll tell you, the more I start hearing like different sides, to me it almost comes like, just like with guns, just like with a lot of things, it almost seems like a lot of these laws though are pointless. Whether you're pro this or against this, whatever, I think it's, you know, it's really just the only way to fix a lot of these issues is to basically have a more of a moral society, basically. More people are more
responsible.
And I think for women that never had children, and they're getting pregnant and they go, oh, we're just going to get an abortion. It's probably easier for them to do it because they have never carried a baby full term. Now, me being a mom, you know, wanting to have a baby for, you know, a few years when we got married and not being able to, and then getting pregnant, for me, it was, you know, it was just a happy you know, feeling, and going to the doctor and not even hearing a heartbeat, because when we went, we didn't hear a heartbeat, but we saw a little something there. And then on the next doctor's appointment, we heard a heartbeat. So after that, For me, it's harder to say, oh yeah, go get an abortion, because now I know
Like you look at
what
it as a
it
life,
is.
right?
You know, when you just see that little dot that doesn't even have a heartbeat, but you know it's a baby. It will become a full baby, and you just want to carry it all the way to the 40 weeks and make sure that nothing happens to this baby. So I think it's easier for women that have not had babies, so they just they just don't want it, for them to go ahead and get an abortion. Whereas a woman that has had children, you're gonna think about it twice before you do it.
Another question then for you guys. You know, it's pretty much, I think, across all of the United States, but I think most of the developed countries, they make it now where, for example, let's say if a woman is pregnant and she gets attacked by somebody, maybe she's beaten up and the baby dies, right, in her womb. It's then considered murder. Like that person can be charged for murder.
Yeah,
so
two murders. If the mom dies and the baby dies, it's two murders.
Yeah, they're charged with two murders. But then, so if that's the case, the law says that, then how can some people, say that a fetus is not a life? If you kill a fetus, then because it's the mother who does it. Can you explain that?
No, it's
Sarah.
I'm like thinking. But so for this to be considered murder, is there a specific term or how many weeks the mom's pregnant?
I don't have the specifics. I don't know.
Because that would be kind of the same as...
I think if they just know that the woman's pregnant, then as far as I understand. Although I'm sure it varies in different...
I don't know. Well, let's just say the baby has a heartbeat. You know, then it's a living thing.
And because I've never had a baby before. When
what are you waiting for?
At around 8.
Waiting for the right pressure. Man, so that'll be for another episode.
We'll put a number down below.
Around 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
6 to 8 weeks. You'll have a heartbeat. I would say 8 because I think I went when we were 6. And it didn't have a heartbeat.
Yeah, so let's say the baby's like, 4 months. I don't know.
Fetus. I think maybe once it's a fetus.
Yeah, so let's say you think it's not like some people who are pro-abortion would say, "Oh, it's a fetus. It's not a baby, right? It's not a life."
It is a life.
Do you think that way, Sarah? I guess.
I think everything has life. Everything around us. So, of course, it's a life in there. But I think depending on again the situation, if you need to get it or if you're in a difficult situation, like you said, like either you were raped or you had a pimp.
That's forcing you.
That's forcing you, or you have certain issues that that it's gonna put your life in danger. Then I think that would.
So in those cases, you wouldn't call it murder, right? But if it's for other cases, you think it would be murder?
I don't know if I would call it murder. I think it would call saving that other person's life, the mom's life.
In those cases. But let's say the woman is not in danger of any medical things. They're whatever, like all these things,
then
and she was not raped.
You're irresponsible.
So and then she gets an abortion.
Fault.
So then, but then let's say a woman like that gets an abortion. Would you say she's kind of pretty much murdering? killing her life?
That would be kind of murderous because you did this. You were like Willie. La la la.
Like
okay, now I'm gonna go cut it out. that seems like wow. What are you gonna do next?
So what's the alternative? It seems
like
to
they
that?
have no moral conscience. It seems like.
What's that, Daniel?
What's the alternative to that?
Oh, I don't know. I guess that's what we're.
Use protection, or if you had.
But I mean, even if you did, that's not 100%, right?
Plan B. Oh, I don't know. I mean,
what if you didn't know?
Is Plan B
I've had 100% success with contraceptives. Just saying.
Is Plan B 100%?
I think so.
As long as
that is, but you have to know. You have to exactly.
After,
you gotta know.
I have to do it.
Well, I mean, you're gonna know if you had sex or not.
Well, the thing is that this Plan B it kills the sperm, basically, something like that. So when it reach the egg, it's not
it's dead.
It's dead. It doesn't nothing happens. That's basically what it is.
So yeah, if you have unprotected
the whole ovulation,
which usually unless
you would know if you had unprotected sex. Run to CVS, get yourself some Plan B, and $50 is going to be a lot less expensive than abortion too.
Yeah,
if you don't have money for a Plan B, an abortion is a lot more.
And I think that's
When
why.
when I was asking what the
It's like
alternative is, I just mean in terms of, so say that person has, they're pregnant and, abortions are illegal. So, then what happens? What's next since they can't get an abortion? So they either have this kid and resent it, maybe, or put it in the system. I mean, there's a lot of other negative things that might not be a good outcome for that kid either.
I mean, I heard, again, I don't know, statistically, that there's a lot of people who want to adopt children.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that want to adopt.
There's also a lot of people who don't.
Oh, okay, I mean, yeah, but from what I
just playing devil's advocate,
Like there's people here in America, I'm saying there's not enough babies, so they actually go to other countries to adopt, right?
That's true.
So
there's so many, even,
I mean,
even gay couples want babies, right? So they are willing to adopt, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a heterosexual couple to adopt.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people. And
like, I just found this online, this question, and I do think it's interesting. Like, if you were to hurt a woman or kill a woman who's pregnant, you'd be charged with double murder. So in that case, the fetus is considered alive. But then people, would at the same time say, well, but if the woman wanted to kill that child, then it's not murder. Which to me, I just thought it was an interesting question. Another one was somebody wrote online, if germs on another planet are found, right, by scientists, they're considered extraterrestrial life. Then why isn't a fetus considered life? Which
are they considering it alive, or is it more the intent for her to have that child? You know what I mean? Like,
well, I guess that depends on which side, who you ask, who's on which side, right? Because some people will say, no, it is of course alive. But people who are pro-abortion will tell you, well, it's not alive. I guess to me, I do think up to a certain point, it's not really a life. It's a developing life. I mean, it's a life, but it's not a human being.
Remember one time you told me that when a woman gets pregnant, that baby that's forming doesn't have a soul until what time?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was something that
I know, but I think
this
that
alien, whatever book I read, and it's the thing that was talking about how human consciousness develops. Whether it's true, I don't know. But
when the soul enters the baby, what is it?
I think it's a 21 days, a 20 something days. Yeah. And so according to that book, they were saying that they don't see a problem if it's if the thing. But then they also said that even if the baby is like before the baby is like fully capable, which is I forgot how many months. Like basically, like until a point where, let's say you did a C-section and you took out the baby and it could survive, then it's considered a human being. But I'm sure, I don't know, do you know at what age, what's the earliest that you can take out a baby before so that you can actually survive outside of the womb?
Well, I've heard and read about 20 weeks they can survive, but they have to stay in the hospital for a long time.
But
they're all
in the NICU 5-6 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5-6 months.
Yep.
But 5-6 months is a long time to already be pregnant. Well, I think you should decide right away if that's your option.
So let's say if there was a law that said, okay, you can have abortions up to 5 months, whatever, you'd be okay with it, right?
No.
You want you?
I mean, 5 months is a long time.
Okay, so
5 months, it's a full-grown baby with all its organs.
What's the limit
That's
for you?
half the. I think. Well, one. If you were to get an abortion, first of all, it should be some stipulations, not just because you wanted to. And again, there's options.
Yeah.
Even some hospitals that I know that they've come up with a system, because some people are embarrassed where if you have the baby, there's this safe space. It's like a box, but it's not really a box. It's breathable, but you can put your baby there anonymously and then ring and leave, and then somebody will come and get the baby. So you can actually drop off a baby, but in a safe, not just before they would drop it at a fire department or
in a little box.
Yeah, so there's safe spaces to do that if you need to do it anonymously. But if you needed to have
let's say it's in one of those cases that you agree women, rape or whatever. Up to what point would you be okay with abortion?
I don't know. Right away. Right away. As
So
soon as like Krisia
3 months,
said,
right away.
3 months. Is
No,
too late?
ASAP. As soon as Krisia said, if you have your regular period, you just know. And I just think as soon as possible. And it's crazy because I've actually thought about this.
because I never had like kids on my mind, and my focus in my career, and I always think like, if I get pregnant, what would I do?
You will have it.
My mom would kill me if I didn't. but I did, like toy with the idea, if would I get an abortion if I could?
I don't think you would.
It's just like,
I mean, I'm surprised
scary.
that, because you
It
guys
is.
are
It's
Latino,
very, very scary.
and a lot of Latinos are very conservative. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised that a lot of Latinos though are also pro-abortion, because I would think they're more, again, because it's usually the conservatives.
Well,
are
maybe
kind of,
that's why my point of view is, what it is.
oh, my mom
But I
is
almost-
very conservative.
But you know what?
Very
But it's also interesting because before we started this episode, I thought, I know you, and you'll be like, no, no abortion whatsoever, and I thought you'd be like, oh, abortions for everybody. You know?
No.
And
get
now,
one and you get one. No.
like Oprah. So now having you guys actually talk about it, it seems like you're pretty much at the same spot. Like you're not okay with abortions late term.
Yeah. Yes.
And you're okay with abortions early on. You also think
Not necessarily abortion, but if you know that you made a mistake, you
that's what I
had
mean.
sex and you could get pregnant, then go ahead, get yourself your plan B,
And then let's see, but if
you'll
that
be fine.
didn't work, and it was, I don't know, a month, whatever, 2 months after, you'd still be okay with it?
No.
So what's your cutoff
No.
for abortion?
Maybe I don't know, 6 weeks, like a month and a half, because it doesn't have a heartbeat. It's not really yet living. You know what I mean?
So you'd be okay with that? Okay.
Oh no, it's
Daniel,
really hard. I don't
what
know.
about
I
you?
had 2 babies. I can't tell you.
I know.
An abortion, so I don't know.
I don't know. I guess.
Yeah, when would you have an abortion, Daniel?
Well, you're a dad, so what do you think?
I mean, I guess if I really had to pick a side, I would say people should be able to do what they want. But if I would personally, no. But I'm not going to be mad at somebody else if they did.
Oh, okay. So you're just kind of like, live and let live kind of thing.
That's how I am with everything. Vaccines, whatever. Like, just do your thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
I don't stand too hard on one side of most topics like
Let's
that.
say regarding this.
Why are we doing this episode?
Let's say
it was your idea.
It was Sarah's idea.
Right, yeah. That's true. But I have another thing. Let's say the woman doesn't want to have the baby, but the dad does. He wants his child.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah.
Because
I'll tell you. Okay.
It takes 2.
That's
to
when
make
you.
a baby.
That's when you take the smack down, and then I don't know. Yeah, that would be devastating if I knew that like I'm with somebody.
Would you take me to court, and fight for the life of your child?
Is that a thing? Can you? Can the father do that? Can you?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe in some places they could. And it would be weird, but I guess I was always smart enough to pick a woman that I knew wanted to have kids. Like, we were aligned. And I think, no, because I was this close to getting married. And
with one that didn't want children.
That didn't, and that at the end I was like, man, good thing I didn't make that decision.
Aww.
Because imagine that's a huge difference of opinion, right?
Huge, yeah.
Yeah, imagine thing. And I mean, we actually know somebody who I guess they got divorced because they got married, and then a year later.
She told him that she didn't want to have children
before the marriage.
Before the marriage, so he knew, and they dated for many years. They got married, and then he changed his mind, and she didn't, and so 1 year later, they got divorced.
Oh, go.
Damn, that's tough.
So now, hey, speaking of that, so let's say. Like in this case, we're saying, okay, so, women should have right up to a certain point, right? Let's say to have abortions, otherwise be responsible, all that jazz. But let's say, okay, so it all falls onto the woman. So then what if it's a case where, let's say, a woman gets pregnant and she decides, no, you know what, I want to keep the child, but the father doesn't want it. Should the father then be, or the man be then responsible to pay abortion? I mean, what do you call it?
So you're saying he told her to get an abortion?
Yeah, and it was like in the first 2 or 3 days, whatever. He was like, okay, take Plan B. And she's like,
Oh,
no.
well, okay, that's it.
And she
Plan
said
B
no.
is one thing.
No, but so let's say, because I've heard of cases like that where it was really early on, and he was like, hell no, I don't want to have a child right now. And she's like,
Well, you should have
whatever.
used protection.
Well, a lot
Well,
of
no, okay, but it takes two to make a child. And then let's say she decides, well, no, I'm going to have this
Well,
child.
he was there.
Should he be responsible then
Yes.
and pay alimony?
He should have worn, he should have strapped on.
the responsibility goes both ways.
Okay.
When you're gonna have sex, that's what I mean.
No, I understand that, but let's say he did, and then whatever, it broke, whatever, it's not 100%.
Get better condoms.
Spend the money, guys. Spend money on
Get the right size, man.
No, but let's say, like I said, like he took every precaution, and he had titanium built condoms.
Liars.
They were made out of titanium, and the condoms broke. And let's say he then goes, okay, baby, please.
Just laughed.
Baby, please, before I leave you.
Yeah, just take the plan B. And she goes, okay, yeah. And then she doesn't do it. She carries gets the thing, and then she goes, oh, well, you're gonna pay alimony now. That's what I'm saying. In that case, I think it's also kind of unfair, right, for the guy, because
It's so funny. Have you heard of the Drake story?
No, tell us.
The hot sauce?
Drake,
Which is a gossip?
Oh, God.
Well, you know Drake the rapper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well, Daniel met him.
Women do that. Women will try to get pregnant by like these famous people to get.
Oh yeah, exactly.
So what he does is he takes the condom, he puts hot sauce on it, so it kills the spermatozoid, and then throws it away. And this one girl got it from the garbage and put it up her thing. And
with the hot sauce?
Yeah, but she didn't know it had hot sauce on it. They got severe burns from it and tried to like sue him or something.
I heard about that. I wonder how true that is, though. Like, why would he go to the trouble of carrying hot sauce around with him when he could just flush the damn condom?
I might get lucky to that.
Money,
carry condoms.
Money. Yeah, girls. No, but I've heard of girls doing that. Like,
I totally would believe that.
Yeah, that's true.
I believe that and I've heard of girls too, like telling their partner they're taking the pill, they don't take it,
and because they want to get pregnant.
They want to get pregnant by them. So yeah, it definitely goes both ways. The women shouldn't be, trying to force men into situations, and men shouldn't force women.
So it's
Nobody
decided.
should force anybody.
So it's decided. If the guy doesn't want the baby, he shouldn't pay.
You guys better pay. You better pay up. Matter of fact, send some my way. I'll send you my.
A lot of believe it or not, a lot of women nowadays are so like proud that they're like, whatever, I'll raise the child myself, and they probably won't even bother.
Here's a video here I wanted to show you guys. I found this.
And difficult questions facing pro-lifers today is this. What about allowing abortion in cases of rape?
Yeah, this is like
a pro-life focus. Our next
very
guest
religious
will
thing,
speak
obviously.
for herself in answering that question.
My name is Jennifer Christie.
Up until 4.5 years ago, sign language interpreter Jennifer Christie was a wife and mother of 4. But Christie's life underwent a radical change one January winter.
I'm here tonight to represent the 32,000 women a year who become pregnant after rape, and the 75% of us who give our children life.
As she testifies and shares publicly today, Jennifer Christie is a survivor of and mother from rape.
As hard as it is to talk about, can you share with us what happened? Take us back to January of 2014.
Right. Okay. So I've shared this a lot, and it has not gotten easier. Okay.
Jennifer tells us she was staying at a hotel alone while traveling for work. On the last day of her 2-week trip, her job let out early because of snowfall. She went back to her hotel.
I walked up to my room and didn't know that I was being followed. I couldn't hear anything. It was very windy, and I had my scarf up and all that. And I got my door open, and I dropped everything on the floor and turned around to close my door, and there was a man in my doorway. I thought, with the weather, I thought maybe his car broke down, or maybe he needed to use my phone or something, and all this kind of went through my mind in like a second. And then he kind of gave me a strange smile and punched me in the head.
Jennifer tried to fight as the man proceeded to assault and rape her. She eventually passed out. Jennifer then awoke to a woman's scream when she discovered she was wearing only a scrap of clothing and laying outside in a stairwell near the dumpster.
But I remember trying to move and realizing that I was very hurt. And I tried to pick myself up, and I looked at my hands, and there was blood on them, and my nails were all cracked and broken, and I just remembered fighting.
Jennifer was taken to the hospital and treated for fractured ribs, broken fingers, a brain bleed, and severe internal damage. She's since undergone multiple surgeries. As a few weeks passed and her body began to heal, Jennifer and her husband decided she'd move forward with work to keep herself preoccupied. She left for a business trip on a cruise when she got very sick.
One of the head doctors came in to me and she said, we're going to need to give you an IV. Is there any chance you could be pregnant?
Christy immediately thought no, her husband had a vasectomy.
And then I stopped and I thought, and for the first time out loud, I said, I was raped. And it's just an ugly, ugly word. And I just had this feeling in my stomach and I said, you might want to test me.
The pregnancy test was positive, so the cruise ship made an emergency stop in Colombia for an ultrasound.
On that screen, I saw this tiny little pea. And this was the darkest time in my life, and I, for the first time since the assault, looking at that little dot on the screen, I just felt something come alive in me again. And I felt hope and joy and light. And I remember thinking, okay, I couldn't protect myself. I fought and I tried, but there was nothing I could do, but I could protect that baby. And it was my baby.
And when you told your husband, how did he respond to the news?
I called him and I said, are you sitting down? And he said, what's wrong? I said, I'm pregnant. And there was just a second of silence and he said, okay. I said, okay, what? Okay, what is, I need more from you. Okay, expand. And he said, sweetheart, he said, this is a gift. He said, this is something beautiful. It's from something so painful and terrible for us. He said, we love babies. And I said, yeah, we love babies. And he said, we can do this.
With a supportive husband by her side, Jennifer welcomed a son into the world. Now, her very youngest, as she calls him, is an integral part of the family.
He is just this bright spot. He's just joy and laughter and silliness, as he's 3 now, so which they happen to be, but even when he was a baby, he was just nothing but, big dimpled smiles and all kinds of joy, and the kids just adore him.
I asked Jennifer, a devout Christian, how her faith in God has held up throughout the journey these past 4 years.
When I tell my story, people who are not believers will say, well, where was your God when that happened? And where was your God then? And I think my God was all over that. My God was all over my story. My God was in the fact that I was being dragged away from the scene and would probably be killed. And, someone stepped in and interrupted me being dragged away, and my life was spared. My God was in the fact that I was left in the snow, which controlled the swelling in my brain, and I'm still here. My God was in the fact that I have this child who people would consider, something horrific, but it's been such a joy and kept me going, gave me a reason to want to press on.
Jennifer, we hear often, even from people who identify as pro-life, this excuse for abortions in the cases of rape. People who make this exception, saying it's not fair for the mother. This child would be a reminder of the trauma of rape. But Jennifer, what's been your experience?
Not that at all. I feel like a broken record saying my son is healing, but I can't imagine getting through the last few years without him, without having his light and his life to look forward to. I've never looked at him and seen anything but him. What we're going to be able to tell our son one day is that none of us would be the people that we are today without you. And that's what God did for us.
Again, I want to thank Jennifer.
I just thought it was interesting because I'll tell you guys, for me, I watched this because I was also thinking okay, what would it be like? I didn't even think of the husband, but I was thinking, let's say,
about the husband.
Yeah, I was thinking, what if my wife got raped? I'd be like, hell no. Like, at first, like, that was my reaction. Then, when I saw the kid, and I was like, damn, but that is like, I also love babies.
It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, exactly. So, I was thinking, and so, but I'll tell you that after watching this, I thought this really shows you how difficult it can be, a situation like that. And I would have no problem if that woman decided, no, I don't want to have that child. I would still understand it. Now, if she decided then, like in this case, and let's say it was you, and you said, oh, I want to keep it. And it would be weird, I think, for me to kind of, being more kind of, I want my children, my blood and stuff. And on top of that, this is somebody.
Not just that, it's like an evil person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At first, I was thinking, man, could I do it? But then I think, once the child is born, and you just accept it as a this beautiful life. Like it's like Krisia said, it's no fault of that child. So I think it's a thing. It doesn't necessarily change my opinion about. Like I said, I still think women who get raped should have the option to abort, early on, not like in the in the 8th month. But men, it also shows you there's she said 75% of women who get raped decide to keep their children, which is crazy. I didn't know. And it's like 35,000 women every year.
I think maybe they wanted to have children.
Yeah.
And because he had the vasectomy, they couldn't. So they saw this as a blessing in disguise. Like they probably wanted more.
Maybe.
And they just couldn't. And now this unfortunate thing happened to her, but then this beautiful thing that they considered beautiful because they wanted it.
That's what
also
I was
happened.
thinking that too. Yeah, right? Because it seemed like they wanted a baby.
I think they wanted.
But if they didn't and they decided to abort, I personally would be okay with it. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I
think
a pretty crazy. Imagine if you couldn't get over the fact that you were raped and.
Hearing her talk, I was just like, oh my God. Yeah, that's a tough situation. It's, yeah.
It doesn't sound like they initially wanted kids though, because you got a vasectomy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they have 4 kids, so they got vasectomy so they could stop, right? They didn't
they were like, I think they probably regretted it and they wanted more.
Yeah. Although aren't vasectomies reversible?
Apparently
they are.
It is.
Yeah. So maybe they could have. I think I gotta give it to the husband, the fact that if it was as fast as he said, because for me, I know it would be like, holy shit, let me think about this. Because but the fact that he was right there and he was supportive and said, okay, well, that is. I don't know, Daniel, would you be okay? Because like as a guy, you also I think most guys are like, well, I want to have
like you
my
said,
blood.
Like you pointed out earlier, it's not really up to me. So, but. It wouldn't be my.
But would you take care of that child?
I wouldn't influence them. I wouldn't influence them either way. It would be hard because you're literally seeing that person's face every day in that.
But let's say it's your girl, and she says, okay, I'm gonna keep this child that's as a result of rape. Would you be okay and be like, okay, well, I'll take care of it too?
Well, what would my other option be?
I guess you could say, well, I'm not okay with it. I'm leaving, right?
I'm leaving, yeah.
I don't think I'd have a choice, would I? Besides leaving, but then what kind of an asshole would you be to leave your own kid because of that, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. It is a hard situation for the guy too, I think. But.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a hard situation for everybody.
And imagine if you don't have a husband. And you don't have the means.
Yeah.
That's
well, I know somebody that had 2 kids, and then her partner got sent to jail for 10 years, and then she found out she was pregnant, and then she decided she was going to get an abortion. This is in New York City, and so she went to the clinic to get the abortion, and then they do a little they scan, and they found out it was 2.
And so she already had 2.
She already had 2.
And then she was going to have 2 more.
The baby daddy was in jail for 10 years.
Damn.
And she was going to have 2 more. And so they asked her if she wanted to.
Who was the father? Was it Tupac?
I don't know. And they asked her if she wanted to continue with the abortion. And she said no, she couldn't. And now those twins are 23 years old.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Yes.
Okay. So. Oh no, I couldn't imagine it's the world without them.
And she raised those 4 kids on her own.
Yeah. No, she did an amazing job.
And
Like not only that, but like those kids are
adults.
level-headed.
They're good adults. You know, they work and they love their mother because they know that she did everything for them. Yeah.
Which not every mother is that good. I mean, there's a lot of single mothers that raise a lot.
Single
crazy.
mother. Yeah. So wow. So there are stories like that where they are found. You know, they find themselves in these difficult situations, and they cannot go ahead with that decision, and they know it's going to be hard, but they do it.
Oh, I guess I could share a personal story about my mom. My mom, when she got pregnant with me, basically, because she's an O negative, I guess, the blood type. My father is positive, creates this huge other basically conflict, but basically it's the mother's antibodies attack the baby. So right away, all these problems with the pregnancy, and the doctors, this is in Poland, communist, country at the time, and they were just like, oh yeah, we can abort the baby right now. And the doctor just, told my mom, yeah, the baby's, might not survive, but if he does,
retarded, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be completely like just mental, a complete retard basically born. And my mom said that she was like right away, no, I'm gonna. And the doctor was like, no, I don't think you're aware. Like you're gonna have, a retarded child that you're probably gonna have to take care of him for the rest of his life. And my mom's like, no, okay, so whatever, I'll take care of him. And I, thank God I didn't turn out that messed up, a little bit.
Only partially
now
retarded.
We have Antos with us.
Yeah, so I can actually take care of myself. But I was thinking about it, like, holy shit, like they made it so easy back in those days in Poland, and I'm like, let's just say I'm very, very happy that my mom didn't take that option.
Your mom was very, very sick, so she went through a lot all during the pregnancy because the body was fighting with Tom.
I was like an alien in her body.
Oh my God.
Yes, the body was like, this should not be
this baby
in
out
here.
of here.
What is happening here?
This evil child.
Yeah. And then I was born and I conquered the world.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but it's like in that case, obviously, I'm glad that my mom didn't take that option, even though she had it. But that's a crazy topic. But anyways, you guys want to add something before we finish?
Yeah, that's so crazy. They're like, so you go in for a checkup, so you want to abort this thing or not? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Just here to
She made it sound like that.
Yeah. Wow, that's intense. Yeah, my final thing is please be responsible out there.
Yes.
Do it.
Those are wise words.
Just
I would say
do
to
it.
everybody.
Just be responsible. I don't understand. I mean,
then I don't think this whole thing would be an issue, right?
Yeah, I just don't
if
get
everybody
it.
Was,
I'm 35, never had a problem. There's no reason to I don't know. And it was crazy too. You know how like when the pandemic happened, everybody was like stockpiling on tissue paper. So apparently people are stockpiling on Plan B.
Right now?
Yeah. So CVS is like
well,
only 2 per person.
Is very responsible people.
I'm like, since when did I only?
So they're just like taking them like M&Ms, just like Plan B time.
Right after every like what?
The people that didn't get to the Plan B are the ones that have kids now.
I'm like, why are you stockpiling? Like it just got a little bit out of control. So don't stockpile. Take as you need it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How many do you really need?
Like why? Like I have a closet full of anybody. Like what?
Well, I haven't heard of that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. But yeah, so be responsible, kids.
And the toilet paper too. Don't stock on it.
Yeah, please.
There's people out there who really need it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not gonna say who, but. All right. Anyways, was fun? I don't know. I mean, as fun as you can get with this topic, I guess. But
yeah, but I guess everybody had their own opinion, and
again, we can be respectful.
And it's all mixed. It's all mixed, and it all depends.
It all depends, and I guess we'll see.
I agree. Just be responsible, and that's it. Just be responsible.
Daniel, be responsible.
Life matters.
Daniel, please. Okay. Please,
no more babies.
Relax over there. I don't even know how many babies you have, but just relax.
Oh, man. All right, guys. Anyways, that was a fun one. So I guess we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
All right, later.